We have some bad news today on the Iraq war. This is something that I've been warning you guys about for a long time now. Obama is sending more troops. So Reuters reports on this, quote, President Barack Obama on Wednesday ordered the deployment of up to 450 more U.S. troops and establishment of a new training base in Iraq's Anbar province to help rebuild Iraqi forces in preparation for a battle to retake territory lost to the Islamic State. Now let's pause there. Okay, so we're sending in more troops. We're building a new base. And they're saying, we also want to rebuild the Iraqi army again. This would be, what, the third time that we're doing it? We covered the story recently. We've spent over $20 billion building up the Iraqi forces, and then when 900 ISIS guys showed up, they literally dropped their weapons and ran in the other direction. Understand, Iraq is a fake country. They don't have a national allegiance to Iraq. That's why people don't give a shit to fight for Iraq. They have more loyalty. The Sunnis have more loyalty to the Sunnis. The Shias have more loyalty to the Shias. The Kurds have more loyalty to what they view as Kurdistan. So Iraq is really three different countries. That's why no matter how much you try to prop up this puppet army, it's not going to fight for Iraq because they don't believe in Iraq. And we also paid 50,000 Iraqi troops that did not exist. That was another amazing story that was released recently. You want to talk about wasting money? Again, over $20 billion we wasted propping up a puppet army that doesn't work. And now what's Obama saying? Not only should we rebuild the army again, which isn't going to work, let's also send more of our guys in there and build a new base. All the while, by the way, they'll continue to say, we're not increasing the war. I don't know what you mean. Really? You're not? So building a new base, sending more American troops, and trying to rebuild the army again. That's not getting more involved in the war. Let me understand this properly, because that's the argument you're making. That's not, but that's not what's happening. We're not getting more involved here. Please. Who do I believe, you or my lying eyes, is what's happening? They say, quote, the plan to expand the 3,100-strong U.S. contingent of trainers and advisors in Iraq marks an adjustment in strategy for Obama, who has faced mounting pressure to do more. So we already have 3,100 U.S. troops on the ground, contingent of trainers and advisors, they say. But it's 3,100 troops. And again, he's like, okay, 450 more. And then we'll come back next month and I'll give you a little more if you need a little more. And then the next month, behind the back, okay, don't tell the media, let's go, let's send some more people there, build a second base. You see what's happening here, man? Again, this is something that I warned you about. This is essentially the endless war. And we saw this in Vietnam. We saw it in Vietnam. It was mission creep. Even under JFK, who everybody thinks, oh, liberal lion. He increased the war in Vietnam. He sent more troops. All the while doing flowery rhetoric about how the Vietnamese need to take responsibility for themselves. Anyway, let's send more troops there. Same thing with Obama. Iraq's got to take care of their own stuff. Here's more troops and a new base and more weapons, and I'll try to rebuild your army with you. So I'm going to go ahead here and give you a taste of similar arguments made for Vietnam. So you're going to listen to JFK talking about Vietnam here, and then a certain commentator in September of 2014 is going to predict exactly how future events will unfold.
President, the only hot war we've got running at the moment is, of course, the one in Vietnam. And we've got our difficulties there, quite obviously.
I don't think that unless a greater effort is made by the government to win popular support, that the war can be won out there. In the final analysis, it's their war. They're the ones who have to win it or lose it. We can help them. We can give them equipment. We can send our men out there as advisors, but they have to win it, the people of Vietnam, against the communists. We're prepared to continue to assist them. But I don't think that the war can be won unless the people support the effort. And in my opinion, in the last 2 months, the government has gotten out of touch with the people. The repressions against the Buddhists, we felt, were very unwise. Now, all we can do is to make it very clear that we don't think this is the way to win. It's my hope that this will become increasingly obvious to the government, that they will take steps to try to bring back popular support for this very essential struggle.
Well, hasn't every indication from Saigon been that President Diem has no intention of changing his pattern?
If he doesn't change it, of course, that's his decision. He's been there 10 years. And as I say, he has carried this burden when he's been counted out on a number of occasions. Our best judgment is that he can't be successful on this basis. We hope that he comes to see that. But in the final analysis, it's the people and the government themselves who have to win or lose this struggle. All we can do is help, and we're making it very clear. But I don't agree with those who say we should withdraw. That'd be a great mistake.
That's amazing every time I see it. Every time I see it. This is the fourth time or so that I've seen that, and every time it sounds more and more like what Obama says today about Iraq and Syria and the Middle East. Oh, what we can do is we can send advisors. We can't fight the war for you, but we can send advisors. Meanwhile, the entire time they say, we're just sending advisors. What are they really doing? They're definitely sending ground troops to fight the war. That's what Kennedy was doing there when he says we're just sending advisors. Same thing with Obama today. Because Obama today is like, no, they're not ground troops. They're just troops on the ground. And keep in mind, originally it was, okay, we're just going to send 400 dudes there to help out the Shiites fighting the Sunni extremists. And then it became, send another 800 in there. And nobody's looking, send another 800. And then all of a sudden today it's 1,600. Wasted. Young American men and women's lives. We just wasted them for no reason whatsoever. And we're making the exact same mistake today in Syria and Iraq and Afghanistan. And we're going to continue to make the same mistake while we hear the same recycled talking points from 1963. I told you in 2014 it was going to happen, and it's continued to happen. Notice the number I used back then? They had just increased to 1,600 troops back then. Now, today I come out here and tell you what? It's 450 troops that are going there now. 450 more. So do the math on that. 1,600 plus 450. What does that equal? Not 3,100, right? So how is it that we already have 3,100 troops in there, and now we're increasing that by another 450? It's because even since I did that story, there's been 2 or 3 other times where Obama's like, is nobody looking? Okay, send more troops in there. Don't tell the media. Just send more troops in there. JFK 2.0, Vietnam 2.0. Let me ask you a question. What do you think is going to happen, guys? Like, what do you think when we hit a magic number? All right, guys, we now have 5,612 troops in there, and look at that! ISIS is defeated! They have conceded, and they're giving back all their territory. Is that what's going to happen? No, that's not what's going to happen. You know that's not what's going to happen. And these guys don't even bother to try to define victory anymore. Notice that was the same thing in Vietnam. Nobody even bothered to try to define it anymore. They're just like, I guess we're there. Lyndon Johnson, after JFK, was even worse. He's like, yeah, send more troops. Why? I don't know. What's victory? No clue. Same thing with Iraq now. You know, we're just, okay, send more troops, send more troops, send more troops. And then what? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? And they say, well, ISIS is bad. We need to fight them because they're bad. Okay, you know who else is bad? Al-Shabaab. You know who else is bad? Boko Haram. You know who else is bad? Al-Nusra. You know who else is bad? You want me to continue to go through the hundreds, if not thousands, of jihadist groups in existence? Why are we focusing specifically on them? There's so many jihadist groups. But see, that's the thing. There's no logic behind this. There's no rationality behind this. There's no objectivity behind this. There's no consistency behind this. This is just what empires do. They get involved in wars, and they stay involved in wars, and they can't even explain to you anymore why they're still involved in wars, when empirically it has not gotten better because we've been at war. We started the war on terror. The idea was to limit or eliminate terror, but there are more terrorists today. You don't have to be a genius to realize, oh, that was counterproductive. That was not the answer. So what I want to do is save the lives of young American men and women and not send them overseas to die for a reason that they can't even fucking explain to you why they're dying, and the leaders can't even explain why they're dying.